For years, Ben Shephard has been a familiar presence in people's lives. His voice, his smile, his calm confidence, all of it has become part of daily routines for millions. Whether he's guiding conversations or sharing lighthearted moments, Ben has always carried himself with warmth and quiet strength. He's the kind of person who feels reassuring without ever trying too hard. That's why when he recently shared a deeply emotional wish, the reaction was immediate and powerful. It wasn't shouted, it wasn't dramatic, it was spoken softly. The kind of truth that lands gently, then stays with you long after the words fade. And in that moment, something shifted. Viewers didn't just listen, they felt it. Annie felt it too. Those close to the moment noticed how her expression changed, how her composure softened, how emotion flickered behind her eyes. It wasn't confusion, it wasn't disbelief. It was the kind of reaction that comes when someone hears words they didn't expect but somehow needed. Ben didn't speak as a television personality. He spoke as a man reflecting on life, connection, and the meaning of shared moments. He spoke about time, how it moves faster than we realize, and how the most important things are often the simplest. He smiled as he talked, even when emotion crept in. That smile wasn't hiding anything, it was carrying it. He joked, lightly, that life has a habit of surprising you just when you think you figured it out. One minute you're laughing at a silly moment, the next you're thinking deeply about what really matters. That small touch of humor softened the atmosphere, reminding everyone that even serious thoughts don't have to feel heavy. What made his wish so powerful wasn't what he said, but why he said it. Ben spoke about appreciation, about wanting the people around him to know how much they matter. He spoke about presence over perfection, about laughter over worry, about choosing connection whenever possible. And then came the part that truly caught everyone off guard. He shared how important it was to him that the people he cares about never doubt their place in his life, that they never wonder if they were valued or if moments together were taken for granted. It was a wish rooted in love, not sadness, in gratitude, not fear. Still, the emotional weight was undeniable. Annie's reaction said everything words couldn't. She wasn't overwhelmed by sorrow. She was moved by sincerity, by the realization that someone she works beside, laughs with, and shares countless moments with had opened a window into something deeply personal. For a brief moment, the world seemed to pause. Fans watching at home leaned closer to their screens. Some smiled. Some felt their throats tighten. Others simply sat in silence, absorbing the honesty of it all. Ben, sensing the emotion in the room, gently lifted the mood. He laughed and said that if it gets any more sentimental, people might stop believing he tells jokes for a living. That single line broke the tension, bringing soft laughter and warmth back into the moment. That's Ben Shephard. He knows exactly when to let emotion speak and exactly when to wrap it in humor so it doesn't overwhelm. Romance in this moment wasn't about grand declarations. It was about care, about respect, about expressing what often goes unsaid. There was something beautifully human in the way he framed his wish, not as something dramatic, but as something heartfelt and sincere. He spoke about shared mornings, shared laughter, shared experiences that seem ordinary at the time, but become precious later. He reminded everyone that life isn't measured by big events, but by the quiet connections that hold everything together. Annie, still visibly touched, smiled through the emotion. It was clear that Ben's words had reached her not as a public statement, but as a personal one, and that made the moment even more meaningful. Fans later described it as watching two people share a genuine exchange, free from performance. No scripts, no rehearsed lines, just honesty. The excitement came not from shock, but from authenticity. Viewers began to reflect on their own lives, the people they see every day, the conversations they postpone, the appreciation they assume is understood, but never spoken aloud.
Ben's words sparked something quiet but powerful. He continued by saying that laughter has always been his favorite way of connecting, that humor creates bridges where seriousness sometimes can't. And yet there are moments when honesty deserves center stage. He admitted that sharing this wish wasn't easy, not because it was painful, but because vulnerability always feels a little risky. But he believed that openness creates stronger bonds, and judging by the reaction, he was right. Annie later acknowledged how much the moment meant to her. Her response wasn't dramatic, but heartfelt. A nod, a smile, a look that said more than any speech ever could. Fans noticed the chemistry, the mutual respect, the unspoken understanding between them. It wasn't romance in the traditional sense, it was something deeper, a connection built on trust, shared experience, and genuine care. And yes, there were laughs, too. Ben joked that he should probably stick to game shows and light banter before he starts making everyone emotional before breakfast. The humor landed perfectly, easing the atmosphere once more and reminding everyone why he's so beloved.
Because behind the jokes and smiles was a simple truth. People matter. Moments matter. And saying what's in your heart, even when it feels awkward, can mean more than you realize. As fans continued discussing the moment, many described feeling inspired rather than saddened. The wish didn't leave them feeling broken, it left them feeling grateful. Grateful for honesty, grateful for connection, grateful for reminders that even familiar faces carry meaningful stories. The excitement grew as viewers realized this wasn't just another television moment. It was a reflection of real life. Messy, beautiful, funny, and emotional all at once. Ben's wish wasn't about endings, it was about presence, about choosing love over silence, about making sure the people around you never doubt how much they matter. That's why it resonated so deeply. As the conversation faded and normal programming resumed, something stayed behind, a warmth, a reminder, a quiet nudge to pick up the phone, to share a laugh, to say thank you, to say I appreciate you, without waiting for the perfect moment. Because, as Ben gently showed, the perfect moment is often right now. If this story touched you, let it be a reminder to hold your connections close, laugh often, speak honestly, and never underestimate the power of a sincere wish shared from the heart. Sometimes the most emotional moments aren't tragic at all. They're simply real. As the moment settled, it became clear that what Ben had shared was still echoing quietly, not just in the room, but in the hearts of those watching. It wasn't the kind of moment that explodes with noise. It lingered, it breathed, it waited for people to catch up to how it made them feel. Ben later reflected that he hadn't planned the words in advance, they simply arrived when the atmosphere felt right. He admitted with a small laugh that he usually prefers cue cards and schedules, but sometimes the heart ignores the timetable. That honesty made the moment feel even more personal. He spoke about how working closely with someone over time creates a unique bond. You learn each other's rhythms. You sense when a smile is forced and when it's real. You know when to joke and when to stay quiet. Ben hinted that this kind of understanding is rare, and when it appears, it deserves care. Annie's response continued to resonate. She didn't rush to speak, she let the moment exist. And in doing so, she gave it space to matter. That quiet strength, the ability to feel deeply without needing to explain it, touched viewers just as much as Ben's words. Later, Ben added a light-hearted comment that made people smile again. He joked that if emotions were a sport, he'd definitely need a warm-up before attempting them on live television. The laughter that followed felt like a shared release, proof that emotion doesn't have to be uncomfortable when it's honest. What stood out most was how natural everything felt. No one tried to turn the moment into something bigger than it was. No one rushed to label it.
It simply existed as a reminder that genuine connection still has a place, even in spaces often filled with scripts and schedules. Ben spoke briefly about perspective, how moments like this have changed the way he approaches life, how he now notices small details more, a shared joke, a quiet pause, a familiar face. He said that once you understand how meaningful ordinary moments can be, you stop rushing through them. That reflection struck a chord. Fans later described how they felt encouraged to slow down, to listen more carefully, to appreciate the people they see every day, instead of assuming tomorrow will always offer another chance. There was also something quietly romantic about the way Ben described appreciation. Not dramatic, not poetic, just sincere. He spoke about how care shows itself in consistency, in showing up, in kindness that doesn't ask for attention. Annie's smile at that moment said everything. It wasn't about surprise anymore. It was about understanding. As the conversation gently shifted back to lighter topics, something had changed. The laughter felt warmer. The interaction felt closer. Viewers noticed it immediately. The ease, the comfort, the shared energy that lingered like a soft glow. Ben joked that emotional honesty should probably come with a warning label and a cup of tea. That single line sparked smiles everywhere, perfectly capturing his ability to balance sincerity with charm. Yet even as the jokes returned, the message remained. People matter more than schedules. Words matter more than assumptions, and saying what you feel, even briefly, can create a moment that stays with someone far longer than you realize. Fans continued discussing the exchange long after it ended, not because it was shocking, but because it felt real, because it reminded them of conversations they'd had and ones they still needed to have. Ben later shared that he hoped the moment would encourage people to speak kindly and openly with one another. He said that life moves quickly, but connection shouldn't be something we postpone. That thought stayed with viewers, because beneath the smiles, beneath the humor, beneath the emotion, there was a simple truth gently woven through everything Ben said, that expressing appreciation is never wasted and sincerity is never embarrassing. The moment didn't leave people feeling sad, it left them feeling awake. And sometimes that's the most powerful feeling of all.